What's good, guys? It's Joseph, and today I'm going to show you guys how to create this little 3D typography animation. Just something super simple, the basics of trying to get your text, extruded, and just to have 3D typography in After Effects and not having to use any other, third-party plugin like Element 3D or Cinema 4D or whatever. Well, technically it's Cinema 4D, but it's a part of After Effects that you all have access to. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Make a new composition, 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second. This part doesn't really matter. It can be whatever you want. I'm going to name a tutorial and just go ahead and get started. First thing I want to do is just get your text layer in there. I'm going to type 3D. Pretty simple. You just want to align it to the center. If you don't have the Align tab up, it's going to be the first option if you open up your window. So hopefully we can get this done pretty quickly. I don't want to waste too much of your time. I know in the past few ones I've did using the Cinema 4D renderer, the videos were kind of long, and I just kind of want to not have my videos be like 20 plus minutes long, unless it's something that's super advanced. But this is pretty simple. So I got the 3D text in there. I'm just going to go ahead and press S on my keyboard, scale it up so it fits the frame just a little bit more. And so now, just make it a 3D layer with this little cube right here. Just check that. And if you see up here, this might say Classic 3D for you if you've never used a Cinema 4D renderer before. You're just going to click on that, change it to Cinema 4D. You can read through what's enabled, disabled when you do this, but we're going to be able to do pretty much whatever we want. There's not too many restrictions. So now that we got that and out of the way, I'm going to make a new camera just in case I want to do some animating. 35mm is fine. So now you see these two new options here, and that's because we're in the Cinema 4D renderer. You can go to your geometry options and change your extrusion depth. I'm going to put it to about 40. And so you can't really see much right now. And I know in a different video I would have had you duplicate this layer and then make the extrusion a little bit darker of a color, but you can actually do that straight in any text layer or shape layer. Just go to animate right here and then go to side and color RGB, and so now it's gonna make the color of the extrusion whatever color you want. I'll make it the same blue and then just make it a little darker. So now there you go. It's nice, it's shaded. You can do this for anything really, so if you want to have the front be a different color or whatever, that's fine. I'll show you how I got that little stroke around the side. If you go to Bevel Depth, you want to make this a concave one and just kind of put this value down a little bit for Bevel Depth. You can do whichever one you want though. And then I went over to the same animator, go to add a new property, and just do the same thing, color with the bevel, and then I'm going to change it to white, and maybe I'll put this to about a value of 1. I think that's fine. So now if I put this to full resolution, you can kind of see there's a little outline outside it. Looks pretty good. So now that's pretty much it. Like if you're here I'm going to drag this back into the layer. If you're here just to learn how to extrude your 3D text, well then there you go. You can animate it however you want. I'm going to show you how to do that simple little tiny animation I did in the beginning of the video right now. But if you're here just to see how you get it extruded, there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and go down into the settings here. I'm going to add a new property. Well, before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and make a new null object. So I'm going to go layer, new, null object. And then you want to parent this 3D layer with this little whip thing, drag it on top of the null. So now whatever we do with the null, it's going to happen to the 3D layer. So let's go ahead and make this a 3D null object. And press R on your keyboard, and you can rotate it while rotating your geometry. So I'm going to go about -45, maybe -25. I think that's a little bit more. It's not too much. And then maybe about -15 for the X, and that looks pretty dope. I'm gonna kind of just straighten it out and eyeball it, make it a little bit more parallel with the top and the bottom of the frame. So -7 works for me. You can change whatever you want, whenever you want, really. But I think this looks good for what I'm going for. And so now I can start animating it. If I go into my animator and everything, I'm going to make a new animator just to keep them separate. Go to animate. I'm just going to animate the position. And so you see I only have values for the X and Y. So what I'm going to want to do to get that third value is go to your animate here and go ahead and enable this. It's per character 3D. And so now I can animate the position however I want. So if I open up the range selector, I can move this forward or backward. I'm going to move it forward a little bit. And I'm going to put this value actually all the way at the beginning. And so now what I can do is go to the beginning of my animation and go to -100 for the offset and make a keyframe. And then I'm going to go to about 2 seconds. You can make this faster if you want. I'm going to put this at +100. And so what that's going to do is it's going to go through like the whole animation once. So I'll show what I mean. Let's see. Okay. These both actually don't need to be at 100. Put the end at 100 and the start at 0. Because see, if I had the start at 100, nothing's happening. So just put this to 0. Now if I scroll forward, the 3 is going to come up first, then the D is going to come up, and then it's going to go back. So it's just a simple animation. So if I put my resolution at full, you can kind of see there's the 3 coming forward. So that's pretty much how I did that. To make it a little bit, you can either easy ease these keyframes, or you can go into advanced and then keep your smoothness at 100, and I put the ease high to about 75. Same thing with the ease low. And so now it's already eased. And so it should be nice and clean. If you think these letters are too like close together, you can highlight them and you can mess with the tracking, or you can even add a like say if I go to this animator to add another property of tracking, I can increase this value and make it so they're not as close together. But it kind of messes with the animation a little bit. So if you don't want to do that, you can not, and then kind of just adjust this value over here. And that shouldn't really mess with your animation too much. So it just depends on what you want. This here is the vertical, not vertical, horizontal spacing. It's basically just tracking, which is the distance between each character. And so I think this looks pretty good. Something else you can do to kind of spice it up a little bit is just highlight both of these, or all 3 of them, I guess. Right click, pre-compose, and just go like 3D text or whatever you want to name it. And so now I can press Control Y and I can get like a dark gray background. And then I can put that behind this. And the reason I pre-compose it is so I can add a drop shadow. I'm going to add a drop shadow. I'm going to increase the distance, and I'm going to put the direction at 225. So drop shadow should be in your Effects and Presets tab, or if you have the FX console from Video Copilot, it's going to be Control Spacebar. So that's pretty much it. Like, that's how I got this animation to work. It's really simple, but it gets the point across. We got 3D text in After Effects, and I didn't have to really do anything to, I didn't have to model it. I didn't have to go get it from another software. And I'm native to After Effects. Like, I know how to do certain things in After Effects, so it's nice to have that, functionality. So, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for the video. If you guys use this technique to make any type of motion graphic or something, be sure to link it to me either on Twitter or in the comments down below. I got my Twitter down there. But other than that, if you guys enjoyed it, if you learned something, or if you just want to support me, consider dropping a like, maybe subscribe. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'm out. Peace.